Hi, Sue Wilson, and I have a lovely festive card for you which features our new star-shaped treat cup. So you can make a beautiful shaker card with this. So I will show you what we'll be using. First up is the Poinsettia star, and this is the one that fits the treat cup. We have the holly swirl. I'm going to use that as a little bit of an accent. From the Gingerbread die set, I'm just going to be using this sentiment here, 'tis the season. And we'll seed it onto the pierced flag. And a little bit of a floral element from both the classic poinsettia and the poinsettia editions. Okay? So I've already done a little bit ahead of time, and I've cut the inside decorative part of the star. We're going to do a couple more cuts just to show you. So let me tape this into place. And what you want to do is just cut it all around in kind of a random fashion. And let me get it all taped in. Try not to overlap, and that should do a nice job there. Just run this through. And take your tool in one. Get a few of those bits off of there. Carefully undo it. Now I've got this little corner. I'm going to use the die again, but I'm just going to leave it so that that doesn't go into the cutting area. Otherwise you'd want to clean that. Let's clean off our plate a little bit. There we go. Put that on, and I'm going to need one more little piece of tape. Hold that into place. Okay. Give this one a quick run through. So you can see what you want to do is just cut it randomly all over your background. You're going to be cutting it off the page as well, so you'll have incomplete stars, but that's part of the beauty of it. So just pop these little pieces out using our pokey tool. There we go. Make sure we get all the fall away out. Put that back onto our mat. So you can see I've got a really nice decorative lacy look going so far. Let me get that last little piece off. So what I want to do now is to put a white backing on this. So I'm just going to use a little bit of spray glue underneath. And we're going to put this onto a piece of white card. Get that as straight as I can. Let's see, that looks pretty good. Tidy up our mess. And I've got a little bit of a long bit here, so I'm just going to do a tiny little trim here. Right along the bottom piece. There we go. So you can see that that's really nice coming through. So the next thing you want to do is go back to your poinsettia star, and we're going to take the centerpiece and we're going to cut an aperture now. So I just want to tape this into place. And a little bit to the top because I want to leave an area for our floral element there. That looks nice. Get it nice and straight. A little bit of tape on it. Let's tidy this up. Make sure you get all your little bits out of the way. And cut this. You're cutting through 2 layers here, so you want to give it a good pass forward and back. Carefully remove this. And you've got a star you can use for something else. We're going to set that aside for the moment. There we go. So now what I'm going to do is fill my treat cup. So I'm going to be using a little bit of Snow White microbeads here. And just give them a little pour into there. Okay. And I did forget to tell you that we will be using some clear microbeads too. Now I have found that whenever I use anything in the treat cup to help keep the static down, a few of the clear microbeads help as you kind of swirl it around. They'll knock anything away from the edge of the plastic, so it's a good way to go. So you just want to put a little bit of glue around the edge, go all the way around the lip. And I like to use my finger and just kind of smooth it out a little bit. That helps it dry a little bit quicker. And you're going to seal it with a piece of clear acetate. Just pop that over. Now you want to let that dry for at least a few hours, maybe overnight. So I've got one I've prepared earlier. So now what we're going to do is we're going to pop this through the aperture, and I'm going to tape it into place on the back. So let's get a couple pieces of tape. We're just going to hold it into place, and then I'm going to add a few more just to make sure it's nice and secure. There we go. Maybe one more at the top there. Okay. Now the other thing is there are two dies, two outside cutting edges on this star. You have one that we use to cut the aperture with, which is the just the simple cutting line. And there's another one that has a double stitch line on it. So if you put the two together, you get a really nice little outline frame for it. So we're just going to add a little bit of glue and put this around the top, all the way around the edge. It's a very, very thin frame, so you don't want to go too heavy on your glue. Get enough to get it nice and stuck down there. There we go. Okay. Pop that right over the top. Give it a second to set. Hold it down into place. There we go. And then we're going to add our decorative feature from behind. So what I've gone ahead and done is use the decorative die, again like I did on the background, cut it out of white, and then I've backed it with some more white card, so it's a white on white look. So I want to center it behind here, so I'm just going to use a little bit of double-sided tape around the edge. We'll get it as close as we can to the lip of the star, but we don't want it to show. And one more right there. So I find it's easiest if you just sort of hold it out. As long as you haven't filled the card too full, you can usually just center it through the treat cup where you want it. There we go. So you can see how nice that looks. Just adds a nice little decorative feature to it. Okay, and we're going to mat it onto a bit of black card. So I'm going to go ahead and use some more tape around the edge on all four sides here. There we go, and I think I'll put just a little piece right here. Hold that into place nicely. We'll center this. Let me just lean into it a little bit. Get that nice and even. Okay. Now we're going to add our finishing touches to this. So I've done several of the flowers, and we have our sentiment and our pierced flag. So I find it's easiest if I put my sentiment onto my pierced flag first. I'll just use a little spray glue for that. I'm going to seat that right at the end of this. It's just the right size for this. And we have used the flag that is 1.25 inches wide. Okay, so I've got some mounting foam here for that. I'm going to pop that down right about there. And I've got several of the flowers, and we'll seat those with some clear glue dots. So I'm going to put my largest one just sort of up here in the corner, kind of just hiding that edge of the flag. And put this second one here right off to the other side. We'll seat the other flower up in the upper corner just as a nice little balanced accent. And then we've got a couple of our swirls. Now these are lovely because you can nip them around and cut them into places and do what you like with them. So I think what I'll do is I will just trim this one. Oop, got a piece of red on there. Just trim this right here. I'm going to add a little bit of glue to the back, and I'm going to slip it under this part right here, and then just take the end of this one off and use it up on the top. Put a little bit of glue under this one. Put that into place, and then I've got a couple little pieces here I can use on the top under the smaller poinsettia up here. Put one like that. And just use this last little bit. So there's nothing really wasted, which is lovely. These swirls give you that opportunity. Okay, so I do want to give you a final measurement on this card. The overall size on this is 7 3/4 by 8 3/4. So you've got a lovely card, a little bit of a shake to it, so it's quite fun. And I hope you've enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have so many more videos for you.